I just came back from a trip to Lollapalooza, Chicago, and had probably the best experience that I could ever ask for my first big festival across the country. The festival itself was all contained in Grand Park, but every stage itself had so much space in between that you could really take your time and experience new music that was being played at a specific stage. From K-pop to hip-hop to EDM and even very obscure artists, I genuinely had a great time being able to experience all kinds of music in such a short week. Now, don't get me wrong here. As much as I want to sit here for hours and talk about my Lollapalooza experience, I do want to change gears a bit and talk about something in this video that stood out to me as I watched the various hip-hop artists perform, and it's the fact that I think genuinely hip-hop is dying. So let's talk about it. Before we continue any further, let's discuss how we got here in the first place. Hip-hop artists have always been known for creating a new and refreshing way to articulate their music, and this later inspired a new generation of rappers in the years that followed. However, in recent years, this is no longer the case. With the current generational wave of rappers, they've slowly been exploring new genres of music, which is what I saw over at Lollapalooza. The internet praised them for exploring new sounds. However, the public doesn't seem so pleased. So let's talk about that album a little bit more. This year we went from this to this. I'll start off with Lil Yachty as he's the most unique one out of the rest. Coming off the insane XXL 2016 freshman cypher hype, these rappers all made a unique name for themselves and are still extremely relevant today. This just further proves it. However, year after year, the quality has gone downhill to where a majority of the rappers that are now featured lost relevance in less than a year. Sure, I partly believe that TikTok is to blame, but hip-hop artists are all jumbled up into this tiny bubble that slowly, little by little, it's going to pop and they're going to want to explore other genres of music as well. In a way, this is basically what happened to Lil Yachty's most recent album, Let's Start Here. Completely ditching the entire hip-hop sound, Lil Yachty takes influence from Tame Impala and makes an album that when presented, probably honestly got laughed at, but was able to prove everyone wrong. The album became a massive success and brought in hundreds of new fans as well. There was a time at the start of Lil Yachty's career that within the hip-hop community, many mistook him as a one-hit wonder, with the song One Night blowing up. I know you want this for life, taking pictures without... From what seemed to be basically from nowhere, he once again proved everyone wrong by dropping this album. And before I get misunderstood or anything, let me just make it clear that what happened to Lil Yachty does not just pertain to him. There's a handful of artists that we're going to briefly discuss that started with hip-hop and are slowly distancing themselves away from that genre, which blew them up in the first place. We're going to change gears a little bit and talk about the hip-hop genre in general. Ever since the rise of TikTok, every artist nowadays just feels like they're all competing for numbers, replays, and pumping out as many records as they can without any real substance to it. For example, what I'm trying to say is that 90s hip-hop grew up on lyricism and creating a story, an outlet to express their struggles and how they faced in the everyday world. In this day and age, however, this is no longer the case and are kind of just pumping out records just to pump out records. Another big thing that we need to discuss is that the hip-hop industry is known to be one of the cruelest ones to be a part of. When young hip-hop artists blow up, many succumb to a horrible contract that forces them to no longer create the music that they want to pump out, but rather the music that'll get them the most clicks. For a lot of young artists, this might unfortunately be the only way that'll get them their food on their table. This is going to be very old news now, but I'll bring it up as it relates to our topic. Back in early July, Lil Baby, one of the biggest rappers of last year, who blew up due to TikTok and Kanye West also featured a song with him, wasn't nearly selling close to the tickets that he had hoped for, and cancelled a handful of his shows before the tour. His popularity and clicks didn't equate to the ticket sales whatsoever, and he's only just one example that realized this way too late. Now, let me just make it clear, I don't think hip hop will die in a couple years. However, in the years to come, I think it's definitely going to look very different compared to what we have today. And while we're on that topic, there's also a handful of artists that'll definitely keep hip hop alive in our current generation. Tyler the Creator and Travis Scott, to name a few. Our new generation of hip hop rappers is basically non existent at this point, while our underground rappers, it almost feels like they're ignored or will never blow up in our current space that we're in. This is just a couple of thoughts I want to get down on a video before I finish really quick. My perspective on hip hop might be a little bit biased, as I didn't necessarily grow up with the 90s style hip hop and watch it explode to how it is today. But rather, I grew up listening to College Dropout, Snoop Dogg, and kinda just continued to ride the hip hop train for the next few years to come. I did, however, notice the very drastic changes that the genre went through throughout the years because of, once again, TikTok. These changes are impacting a new generation of rappers that probably may not be able to hold their weight for the next few years to come, killing the genre in some sort of way. These are purely just my opinions and speculation. There's genuinely no way of knowing how a genre will perform in the next few years. For now, let's just enjoy and support what we have today, and maybe, who knows, it may influence some newcomers to step up and create something revolutionary one day. Quick little thing before I finish the video. We hit our next biggest milestone, which is 200 subscribers, and let me just tell you really quick that words cannot describe how happy I am that we finally got to this point. I never thought that my videos were ever gonna get to this point, so just seeing that number 200 means so much to me. So thank you so much for your continued support. Like, comment, subscribe. I will continue to try my best to keep up with every single comment, take as many feedback comments as I can, and just make my videos even better from there. So yeah, thank you so much. I hope you all stick around, and who knows, I am starting to stream, so I might see you guys in the next stream, and I hope you all stick around. Thank you, peace, and I hope you all have a good one.